Hi, so this is going to be my first Loom video. The reason why I'm doing this is because firstly, I really wanted to be able to do some form of expression, to share the things I'm learning in public kind of thing, and develop further ideas and share the things that I'm thinking about with my friends. Also, I kind of realized that a lot of people are doing very meta Rome stuff, like doing where they are showing Rome, but they are showing how they take notes and showing how to use Rome. But I don't think enough people are using Rome for expression or really using Rome as a tool to bring things out to life and out there to you, whoever. Yeah. And it's good. This is going to be very scuffed. It's going to be just me rambling, and I hope you're okay with that, because the reason why I'm intentionally making it scuffed is because I studied film, and I've always felt a huge resistance of fiction whenever I make videos, any kind of videos, even if it's just me talking to a camera, just like this, you know. And I always feel like I need to make some form of I need to produce this, I need to have lights, I need to have a proper mic, I need to have a script, I need animation, I don't know. Yeah. But realizing that what's stopping me? Absolutely nothing is stopping me apart from just sitting down and making something out. Yep. And I wanted to kind of showcase how I use Rome to develop myself, develop these ideas that I have, and when I develop these ideas, what actual practical effect does it apply into my life? Because it's kind of, you can take all the notes you want, you can build your second brain as much as you want, but if there's no actual output from it, it's kind of useless, right? You know. So kind of making my money's worth. um, this was actually inspired by my friends Lucy Keller and Ramses. Sorry if I butchered that, but by Ramses, who I had a call with today. So Lucy posted this. I was just thinking oh, friends who inspire each other make you do. Talking camera is fun. Then I was just like, is talking to camera fun? I don't know. Usually I'm behind the camera, so I want to try it. Maybe I'll find talking to camera fun, and I'm having fun. And a conversation I had today with Ramses, who encouraged me lots on my anxiety with building something or expressing things. I often we feel oh, it has to be some grand thing, but kind of just kind of got to do it, It's just got to be your own opinion, and it's okay if everyone doesn't agree with you. The point is not to, the point is your your audience isn't everyone, and you don't want that. You don't want you if your audience is everyone, then you kind of you're not really talking to anyone if that's the case. uh, yeah. So I was thinking about what I want to talk about. This is kind of this is a very raw idea of how did everything went. I was at 12:30. I was oh, I'm gonna make myself accountable to do this idea over here, and then I was just okay, what do I want to talk about? Maybe I'll work through my older notes, or my permanent notes, or my evergreen notes, and then maybe and then I decide on using my strongest intuitions are often totally wrong. So what's this idea? Or what is this note at least? This is an idea that I kind of got from the Science of Well-Being by Yale. It's a free course in Coursera, and it's honestly one of my favorites. I feel like I have to revisit it because I kind of stopped halfway. And this was taught by Professor Laurie R. Santos. Basically, what this is saying is that despite knowing the truth, we often comprehend it wrongly, and this is labeled as one of the annoying features of the mind. In fact, it's annoying feature number one. And the idea is that oh, our mind sometimes delivers intuitions to us at full force, and that's because that's what needs to happen, but most of the time it's not true. So she uses the example of if a baseball and a bat cost $1.10, uh and the bat costs $1 more than the ball, how much does the ball cost? Right. And if you're not a math genius, I'm not a math genius because I didn't take math, uh, you would answer 10 cents. But I think the correct answer is 5 cents. But the correct answer is 5 cents because one if they cost $1 more, then it'll be the bet will cost $1.05, and then 5 cents plus $1.05 is $1.10, right? Right? You don't need to be a math genius to know that. So, yeah. And I think that's one cool example, I guess, unless you do math regularly, but I don't. So it tricked me. So I felt very strongly that, oh no, it's definitely 10 cents, but no, it was $1.05. Another example would be she likes to use like visual illusions. So like another example would be like this line. I can't remember. It's an optical illusion. But this line of oops, it's because it's a block reference. Yeah, A and B, and like B looks longer than A, but actually, if you cover it up, like if you put your fingers now here, you realize, oh, they're the same length. Yeah. So, but no matter how you look at it, it's just like B seems longer. I can't put my finger on it. Why? So that's a very practical example of like what your mind receives is not exactly, or what you really feel is not exactly uh what is right. So I have a couple of link references to this, couple of ideas, and a couple other notes that I had. The first was give yourself permission to feel without guilt. The source idea of this was I was feeling very guilty for after a breakup with my ex, and I was like feeling very guilty of like, oh, uh, I shouldn't feel this way. I was feeling guilty over the relationship, or feeling guilty for allowing myself to feel a certain way, or like feel like, oh, I want to miss, I really miss her, but like I don't like, I want to get over it. I felt guilty for wanting to get over it as well. So a little journal entry that I wrote is that our feelings are not entirely separate from us, neither are they totally us. When feelings and emotions get overwhelming, we need to realize that what our brain that grammar, but we need to realize what our brain is sending, and this is not entirely real either. Um, yeah, so this was kind of like idea. The way that I kind of process things with Rome is that I have linked references, and then I think a little bit more about, okay, why does this link to this? Yeah. So that's the way I process link references. There are many different ways of processing link references, and this is not my only way of utilizing Rome's features, but this is one way that I'm using it. Yeah. Another one was, why do you think creativity is more important than ever? So this question that was all about in this course by IDEO that I was taking about a couple of months ago. I was thinking about this like with the idea of like foresight creativity is contrasting to core top. What am I talking about? It's contrasting to the core topic of I was trying to find like the difference between uh how does why do we why I think creativity is more important today than ever in this hidden topic of our mind's strongest intuitions are often totally wrong. And the answer, kind of like my own answer to that is because our mind's strongest intuitions are often totally wrong, which is why we believe we can predict the future. But more so than ever, we need to realize that predicting the future is not a very sustainable way to think. So it was a little bit of a stark contrast to me between these two ideas of um, creativity, feeling like creativity is important today and not in the future, or and reflecting on like, why is this possibly wrong right now. Yeah. Basically this is a little bit complicated, but basically the idea is that um the way that it's kind of different, the way that it's contrasting, yes, the word is contrasting, the way that it's contrasting is that uh we we feel like we know the answers to the questions in the future. In fact, I'll just write that down. Like do some live roaming. We feel like we we know the future, but understanding that our current intuitions may not be necessarily right. we need to be creative in approaching problems in the future. Yep. So that's one. And then this idea of miss one thing, which is kind of like the hidden idea of like our mind's intuitions are often totally wrong. It's the act of miss one thing is an idea that it's about how much you want, and you want something and you would like something in the future. For example, um, I really want an iPad. I really, really, really want an iPad. And I think that I would really like it in the future. I want to be able to draw on it. I want to be able to use Roam on it. I want to be able to take it out and not have to carry my shitty MacBook everywhere anymore. But maybe I won't like it so much in the future. Maybe I will just kind of toss it aside. Maybe it won't actually make me a lot more creative. So, and then there's this study by, was it a book? Yeah, book. By study, yeah, by Gilbert and Wilson. If you want to check that out, go and check that out. Sure, just Google is your best friend, you know. So we've gone through what it is. What it is that this we comprehend what we feel now does not equals uh we comprehend things wrongly, whether or not we like it or not. You know, for example, back to the A and B, the A and B picture, A and B are the same length, but we feel like they are not. Yep. So, kind of like examples of where this has occurred in my life. So there was this of like, where like this idea, my strongest intuition is often totally wrong, has occurred in my life is like, oh, you can tell a lot of feelings about a project from the way you speak about it. This was kind of something a mentor said to me before that really resonated with me. And I began realizing that the way that we spoke about things is a reflection of our mind's strongest intuitions. So possibly that's a tell, like a tell on how we uh that's a tell on what we are currently strongly feeling. So digging into my journal a bit, I pulled out an angry rant. I block refed it, and then so I'm going to say this in a very angry voice, okay? What's the point of me constantly? Wait, no, I must be a little bit more whiny, a little bit more Karen like. um, what's the point of me continuously trying to improve myself and being better, when I'm only going to be constantly shut down for trying to seek help? Have I not proved to everyone else already that I can be better, that I'm struggling to improve, and that I've become better than what others think of me? I don't like the idea of unhealed trauma and all, because fuck, we all have it. We as people, our essences are a compound combination of our experiences and influences. What makes me so different that they can give someone else who has absolutely ignores intrinsic and does not understand the value of it and responsibility of holding a gun in human life? So why must I be the one singled out? As though I am different and I have a problem and handicapped on purpose to being useless. Am I worth it? Should I still keep going? I don't want to go on. I'm so hurt and betrayed. For what? For what? For what? Yeah. It's embarrassing to read it out loud, but yeah. Um, in here, I think my strongest intuition was I felt like I was being treated as somebody that was useless. I felt like, so context was basically some shit happened in my life, and uh I felt I felt betrayed. Yeah, and that was the strongest intuition. Feeling like I feeling like I suck, feeling like other people hate me. But in retrospect, like, actually no, not really. I'm pretty fine. I'm pretty decent. I'm not too bad. And I think the reason why they did those things to me then was, it wasn't the fact that they were seeing me as useless, because that's obviously totally wrong. The fact was that some things in the admin system messed up, and also they were worried about me, so they took me off duty for a little bit. But that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, and so it wasn't really anything. So my strongest intuitions uh, are totally wrong, often totally wrong. So, but this is a prime example of how this manifests in my daily life, which is why it's very important for us to be able to reflect and analyze our own mental condition. So tools like being able to journal and actively reflecting, especially when you recognize strong intuitions and repeated patterns. Yep. So the way I use Roam is a hybrid of journaling, um, building a second brain, project management ish, um, and when I say building a second brain, like captures and resources, like from Para and Code, and a little bit of GTD style stuff, I guess. Yeah. I don't really have solid frameworks, but I definitely use it as a tool to help me combine my personal work and learning, which because I find like all aspects of me should be intertwined, and I will become the realest real me when I do not separate myself. An idea that I got from Michael Ashcroft. So what I do with the so what I do with most permanent notes, like this one you see at the side, our maestro. I won't open that because it's a little private. But okay, you know what? I'm just gonna open it. Yep. So the way that I kind of style my permanent notes looks like this. Everyone is different, but I try to keep true to at least this few like source keywords, relevant notes, like on purpose link references, I guess. Um, Notes and questions, like things that I ask myself. Yep. So this is kind of like I do a little bit of reflection. With spaced repetition, I have little prompts that allow me to do some reflection. So this one is what filters can I apply to better recognize when I'm seeing things wrongly? And the ideal, and this was an answer I gave myself. Catch yourself when you feel emotions are high. So these are indicators. Yeah, your emotions are your brain indicators. I said the exact same thing that I without reading it. The feedback that you can get from emotions can lead to things being unclear. I think the second part of this, the feedback you get from your emotions can lead to things being unclear, is that often we just trap ourselves in our emotions and we send ourselves on this negative feedback loop that we cannot really escape from. So I had another question after I was thinking about this. How is this different from gut feeling that I relate to logic is emotional? Logic is emotional is just another evergreen note that I had on basically ideas of all logic is kind of weighted. We don't really have a clear, solid, like yes or no. Most of the time, it's kind of like, maybe, sure, I guess right now, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. So it's a little bit, it's still developing. I won't share that just yet. Maybe next time. Yeah. In fact, I have a space repetition today for me to develop this idea further. And because it's similar, there are some questions with Miss One Thing as well. So in practice, have I made negative choices based on my own personal miswantings? I think a lot of anger comes from miswantings. We get frustrated because we think that certain things far off in the future, but it's not far off in the future is not what we want. When in reality, it may not affect us that much. For example, like maybe if I lost my job right now and I get frustrated because far off in the future, I probably won't have enough money. But in reality, actually, maybe it won't affect me that much. Maybe I'll find a new job like tomorrow, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so that's kind of like something I was thinking about. It's one thing that I've had is like probably I would be super active with Rome long term, like believer plan kind of thing, and even further than believer plan. But also realizing this was another idea, realizing the purpose of building a second brain is to not live in it. You want to be able to spend minimum amount of time in your second brain. But this also doesn't really hold true all the time. So while I'm an active user of Rome, excuse me, yeah. While I'm an active user of Rome now, I feel very strongly for Rome research. And I'm a Rome scholar and that kind of thing, right? But it may not necessarily be correct right now. Yeah. So to sum it up, I guess, our mind's strongest intuitions are often totally wrong. And we cannot judge based on our current feelings that we have right now, no matter how strongly we feel about something or what philosophy dictates. The solution, I don't know. And that's fine. There isn't a one size fits all solution, but increasing awareness and actively thinking about this, catching yourself when you feel strongly about something, and then finding like your own personal indicators of strong intuition. This process of reflecting is an action in itself that would manifest and grow. So some of my indicators are just recognizing when my emotions are on a high, recognizing when I'm feeling resistance, recognizing that, and doing like active journaling and doing this kind of thing where I'm reflecting and linking notes and thinking about relating my own personal experiences to the things that I learned somewhere else, and being very practical about myself. So something that I resonated with recently was that Ramses said journaling is a major bullshit filter, and I completely agree with him. Like reading this this rant, angry, frustrated rant, I realized that um, what I felt right now, what I felt then, my mind's strongest intuition wasn't totally right. Like they didn't really think I was useless. I was just being a emo kid. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I guess. I will try to clean things up in the future. Definitely. I'll try it. But this was just for me to get started. And I'm not going to cut this. I'm just going to leave it as it is, and you can watch it if you like. Thank you. Have a good day or night.